There's a road in northern Oregon that doesn't appear on most GPS systems anymore. Route 47. It's 42 miles of twisting forest, dense fog, and silence. Truckers once called it the back vein because it cut through the old Tillamook logging routes. Isolated, cold, and always slightly damp, even in summer. But after the disappearances began, locals gave it another name, the corridor, because everyone who entered between mile 21 and 24 never came out. The first case happened in September of 2009. A woman named Emily Carter was driving home from a late shift in Portland. At 12:43 a.m., she texted her sister, "Almost home. Weird fog tonight. Everything looks off." It was the last message she ever sent. 3 days later, her car was found parked neatly by the side of Route 47, mile marker 23. Driver's door open, keys still in the ignition, phone still recording. The recording was only 18 seconds long, the soft sound of her breathing and a whisper that didn't belong to her voice.
"Emily, turn back."
Forensics tested it. It wasn't her voice. It wasn't human at all. Police dismissed it as interference, maybe a radio transmission. But 2 years later, another case surfaced. Thomas Keene, a long-haul trucker hauling timber from Tillamook, vanished in the exact same area. When officers found his vehicle, it was idling, still in gear, with the driver's door wide open. His CB radio was on, broadcasting faint static. At 2:19 a.m., Keene was heard saying, "Radio's picking up voices again." Seconds later, his truck rolled gently into a ditch. No crash, no panic, just silence. When the recording was replayed, investigators noticed something behind his final words: a whisper, breathing, and a heartbeat. By 2013, Route 47 had claimed at least 5 more people. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just their cars, perfectly parked, headlights still on, fog pressing against the windshield. It wasn't until 2017 that someone found proof. A hiker exploring the old logging trail near mile 22 stumbled on something strange. A box, half buried beneath tree roots. Inside, wrapped in plastic, was a cassette recorder. The tape inside was labeled, in black ink, "Voices 1985." When the police played it, there was silence for almost 40 minutes. Then, faintly, the sound of heavy breathing, footsteps crunching through leaves, and finally, a voice.
"If you hear me, it's already behind you."
The voice belonged to a man who was never identified. The recording ended with running, and then nothing. The FBI took interest for a short time. Their report suggested a psychological phenomenon known as auditory pareidolia, the brain finding patterns where none exist. They said people were hearing whispers that weren't real, but something didn't add up. Every missing person, 13 in total, had been traveling alone, each between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., and each of their devices, when recovered, contained low-frequency audio distortion that matched no known environmental sound. Someone, or something, was speaking on that road. In 2019, a Reddit thread appeared on r/unresolved mysteries. The title read, "What's happening on Route 47?" The post was from a user who claimed to be a paramedic working in Washington County. He said he'd responded to multiple abandoned vehicle calls on that same stretch, always mile 23. He wrote, "Every time the engine's still warm, every time the phones are open on a recording app, I've listened. You can hear them talking to someone who isn't there." The post was deleted within 12 hours. The account wiped. And a week later, the paramedic was reported missing. But the story didn't die there. A YouTuber named Noah Ellis, a paranormal vlogger with a small following, decided to investigate. On October 12, 2022, he uploaded a live stream titled 24 Hours on Route 47. It was supposed to be a joke, a ghost hunting parody. He started the stream at 11:37 p.m. At first, it was just fog and darkness, nothing unusual. Viewers in the chat made fun of him. Then, at 12:02 a.m., the first anomaly appeared. Behind him, faint in the fog, a set of headlights. Too close, too still. He turned around. They were gone. At 12:04 a.m., Noah leaned toward the camera and said, "Do you hear that?" The microphone picked up slow, deliberate breathing right next to the lens, and a voice, low and distorted, whispered, "Keep driving." The stream cut out 11 seconds later. When police found his car the next morning, it was still running, phone still recording. The last frame showed Noah's reflection in the windshield, and behind him, a face that wasn't his. That was the final known incident before Route 47 was shut down permanently. Today, it's sealed off with barricades and warning signs, but locals say on cold nights, you can still hear the hum of engines drifting through the fog. Sometimes headlights appear in the trees, moving slowly, as if searching for a way out. A few even claim to hear the voices themselves. They say the whisper follows the wind. It starts soft, like your own thoughts. Then it changes. It begins to use your name. There's an unverified document, allegedly leaked from a state patrol report in 2014. It mentions something called Operation Deep Echo, a classified experiment involving low-frequency sound tests in the Tillamook region back in the 1980s. The report claimed those tests used sub-audible resonance waves to manipulate animal behavior. Some frequencies caused confusion, hallucination, even paralysis. When the experiments ended, equipment was buried deep beneath the forest floor. But according to the file, one station, labeled Site 47, was never fully decommissioned. Some believe it's still running, transmitting faint signals that only activate under certain conditions: low pressure, fog, and silence. Conditions that Route 47 sees almost every night. In 2023, an independent researcher named Leah Morano claimed she had found coordinates to one of those sites. She posted a 12-minute video online showing a chain-link fence, concrete blocks, and rusted satellite equipment covered in moss. Her voice was shaking when she said, "There's still power here. The ground is humming." The video cut off abruptly when she turned her camera toward the forest and whispered, "Who's there?" She was never seen again. The video reappeared 3 days later, re-uploaded on her own channel. But the metadata showed it was uploaded from a device that had been destroyed 2 years earlier. By now, Route 47 has become more legend than location. Some say it's cursed. Others believe it's the byproduct of forgotten military science. But those who've studied the recordings say there's something more disturbing. When the whispers are played backward, the phrase, "turn back," becomes something else entirely.
We're still here.
And layered together, every voice, every missing person, it forms a single human pattern, a composite frequency that matches the resonance of a heartbeat. Meaning, those voices aren't recordings, they're living imprints. Some believe the missing aren't dead. They're stuck between signal and silence, trapped in whatever liminal space Route 47 opens when the fog settles low enough. A trucker once described it perfectly in a police interview before he quit the job for good. He said, "When I drove through mile 23, I felt like the road wasn't moving. like I was driving inside a memory. And when I checked my mirror, I saw myself driving behind me. He refused to elaborate further. He left Oregon a week later. There are no confirmed survivors from Route 47, no witnesses who've gone past mile marker 24, only whispers, distorted footage, and an eerie pattern of perfectly parked cars, always facing north. And yet, in April 2024, hikers reported hearing a woman calling for help deep in the forest. When search teams followed the voice, they found tire tracks that ended abruptly at a clearing, and a cracked phone screen glowing with a single message draft. It read, "It's still whispering." The sender's name? Emily Carter. The first person who ever disappeared on Route 47 15 years earlier. The road is still there, sealed off, overgrown, fading into the forest. But if you go near it, some claim your phone starts to pick up static. Your GPS reboots. And if you listen carefully, through the wind and the hum of the power lines, you'll hear them. All 13 voices, still whispering together. Turn back, or stay.